right, let's dive right into it. And we start with the Jets. Aaron Rodgers' first post-surgery game action might not be until September 9th against the San Francisco 49ers. A tall task. When the New York Jets open their season, that one's on Monday Night Football. Here's head coach Robert Saleh on his instincts with whether Rodgers will play in preseason.
We haven't really talked about it. My instinct right now as I stand here is we'll see.
Your instinct is we'll see.
My instinct is no, but
I saw you going.
but I want to leave it open that that third game is the one where we're deciding. So he definitely won't play the first two, but the discussion on the third one we just haven't quite had yet.
Christopher.
Yes.
Mad Dog Russo. He made time for Egypt, but I don't know about the preseason. Should Rodgers play in preseason games, considering how his season ended? And, it's still a new team.
He's 40. He can do what he wants, and it probably won't make a big difference as far as his regular season performance is concerned. I would play him a little bit. I mean, didn't he have the surgery last year, that radical Achilles surgery, to make him possibly return for a Jet playoff run in January?
Yeah.
So now it's 7 months later, so now we can't play him a couple of quarters in a preseason game. I think you need to put the last year behind him. I think a couple of good quarters wouldn't hurt. That last preseason game is against the Giants, so maybe that is the game that he plays. Bart, I'm not sure about you. I play him. I mean, I got to play him a couple of quarters. I'm not saying every game. How about a quarter in game one and a quarter in game two just to get him ready for the first game of the year? You don't like it?
No, you got to let that tendon heal up as much and get as strong as possible. Like now he's actually running. He's going back to back. And people talk about that third game. That third game can be a bloodbath, right? I've watched Eli Manning get his nose almost broken by Calvin Pace in that one. We remember the Snoopy Bowl where Mark Sanchez ended his career because he got injured in the last game. That game is a game for regional pride. So that's not like some typical, third game, we'll play nice. No, I don't want to put him out there with Sexy Dexy, Thibodeau, and Brian Burns testing out the new offensive line who's going out there coming for blood. So listen, if he's going to play anything, I would rather play him against the Panthers. I believe they have the Panthers. That's a team with a favorable roster that can protect itself because he's a franchise. Now, I know they did a good job in going to get Tyrod Taylor. He's a formidable backup in case Aaron Rodgers is going to miss a couple of games because, quite frankly, last year, everybody's number one quarterback goes down and misses a couple of games. I can remember when I was there, Mark Sanchez didn't know how to slide, and he was taking a lot of punishment. I think they need to take a page. They brought in Joe Girardi to teach Mark Sanchez how to slide. I think they should take that page, and go get Peyton Manning and get Tom Brady to teach Aaron Rodgers how to fold up like a bad tent when anybody gets around him. Because last year he tried to fight and stay up the Achilles, pop. I think he needs to learn how to fight another down and be able to just fold up and give up easy sacks because he is the season. And if he goes down, it's a wrap.
I understand that, but boy, it's hard to sit there and decide that we have to be careful with injuries in a quarter of a preseason game. This is where we are right now. We can't play him just in case. It's football. He gets hurt in the first quarter against San Francisco. The season's over anyway. What difference does it make? I just think to get the Jets feeling good about themselves, put a little doubt, get the black cloud away from their organization, erase the doubt that he doesn't look good. How about him going out there playing? Last year he played a good quarter in that first game against the Giants. One quarter from Rodgers where he throws a touchdown pass, gets in touch with Mike Williams and Garrett Wilson, will make the Jet fan feel that their quarterback is healthy and will erase some concern before the Niners on that Monday night.
Are you concerned about this team?
Well, I'm going to place the bet on them on the over, as you know, 9.5. I think the Jets going to have a good year. But the quarterback is old. He's coming off, as Bart said, a major injury. The year before for the Packers, he wasn't great. There has to be a little concern of where he's going to pick up from his career. And so as a result, the quicker you can get him out there to make him feel good, make the Jet fan feel good, I think the better off you're going to be. You have to be a little concerned. He is 40 years old. And the Jets always have a dark cloud around them, and they haven't won since 2010.
But we can't care about the feelings of the fans, right? Because if you start caring about the feelings of the fans, you become a fan, right? And Robert Saleh understands that this is the last year. They're all in. Either Aaron Rodgers and this team and this regime has a great season. I'm not just talking about getting to the wild card. They got to win some playoff games and push and compete for potentially a Super Bowl or AFC championship. I'm not putting the franchise at risk. I'm going to allow him to continue to get healthy. I'm going to continue to let this offensive line develop Because what happens is now the veterans don't play in the preseason anyway. That's for any team. Really now what they have is they have these joint practices, and I'll be there at the joint practice that they have with the Giants, but it's going to be a controlled environment where everybody can go live. But when you get close to our quarterback, ease up. Not ready yet, right? And I understand, what you're trying to say. It's important for Aaron Rodgers to know that he can withstand a hit. But I don't need to find that out right now. I need to continue to allow that muscle to get stronger, that tendon to stretch out, become more pliable, more flexible before I put him at risk. So listen, the first time he get hit, it may be by Nick Bosa, but it's fine though, because at least that's as long as we can push it.
Well, two things on it. Number one, are you willing to give up that first game against San Francisco?
Not at all.
You got to feel to be a little rusty offensively going into that game.
This is his offense. He knows his offense like the back of his hand. He is the offensive coordinator.
Hasn't played in a year, though.
What does a 4-time MVP need to get reps for? You know what I'm saying? I be telling everybody, this is like Kevin Durant coming back. Kevin Durant missed all that time with the USA team.
Yeah, and then he comes in out of the gate, puts the team on his back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? That's exactly that's who Aaron Rodgers is.
Well, why did we do that surgery then last year, the radical procedure to get him ready in January?
Because he came to win a Super Bowl. It's like when Tom Brady went to Tampa, when Peyton left, not to win a couple playoff games. When did you get so soft?
Well, hold on now. 7 months later, we were going to play him in a January playoff game, but now we can't play him in one quarter against the Panthers in August?
I'm not worried about
that. But that was risky. But guess what? They don't keep record of the preseason games.
No, I'm with Bart on this. Look, I don't think, Doggy, I don't think you can afford to risk putting him out there at all in a preseason game because, look, I think the number one thing for Robert Saleh to do right here will be to make sure he communicates with Aaron and asks him, look, what is it that you need to be ready? Where is your mind at? Because Aaron said, look, the final couple percentages in terms of him being 100% ready to go are going to come from his mental state of mind. Meaning, does he truly trust it to be able to move instinctively without thinking within the pocket to protect himself, slide up in the pocket, escape right, escape left, maybe run for a first down? Is he comfortable doing those things? Well, you know what? You can do that in these joint practices, as Bart's alluding to. You can simulate all those things. You're just not going to be taken to the ground. And see, look, you don't want him being taken to the ground anyway. In the preseason, I wouldn't want him being taken to the ground. This isn't an injury where you want to say, hey, look, let's just see if somebody roll up on Aaron's Achilles, see if he can take it. Let's see if he can get up from there. You don't want to find that out in the preseason game. Yeah. You don't give a damn if it, you don't care. If he hurts that thing when the regular season starts, then guess what? Then the football gods just weren't with him. That's just the way it is. You take this all the way to the end. He is their offensive coordinator. Hell, he may know this offense better than Nathaniel anyway. This is his deal. Just let him go until it's week 1, and then let the chips fall where they may. Football isn't always fair, man. People get hurt, they come back. That's the way it's going to be.
I get it. Let Rodgers cook, but it's more the other people around him I'm concerned about. But I want to get into this. So Dan O said yesterday, if this doesn't go well for the Jets after trading for Rodgers, it could go down as one of the worst trades ever.
I mean, come on. What's one of the worst trades ever? Russell
That's
Wilson
what he said. Dan
the worst.
referenced Russell Wilson and said this could be as bad as Russell Wilson.
No, listen, I can't expect Aaron Rodgers. I don't expect Aaron Rodgers to have a bad season or bad performance. Russell played bad. Aaron Rodgers, if he doesn't play, it's because his body wouldn't hold up. So I don't think it can go bad. I think, what they gave up for him was a second-round draft pick. Anybody would trade for a second-round draft pick for a 4-time MVP. That's taking your shot. I mean, the Jets put themselves in a position where they didn't pick the right quarterback, and they're taking their shot. We see Pittsburgh doing the same thing with the mistake that they made with Kenny Pickett. This is a way of trying to right a wrong and try and win while they have a young core that doesn't have to get paid yet, because the Jets are on the time clock. They got 1 or 2 years before they have to pay Sauce, Jermaine Johnson, Vera Tucker, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. So they're going to have to be able to try and win for these next 2 years, because they can't afford to keep the core together after 2 years with Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers has a year, maybe 2, before he has to ride off to the sunset and decide to play somewhere else.
He's 100% right. Orlovsky's lost. If he played poorly and was a disgrace and they gave up 3 number ones, he got a point.
Yeah.
He didn't play because he was hurt. You can't tell me a trade doesn't work when a guy gets injured. And when he got injured, that's football. It can happen. It was a freaky thing. So he tells me it's the worst trade of all time, and he hurts his head. That's not fair.
What if in the next
How about
2
the
years
Herschel Walker trade?
What if in the next 2 years?
Good point.
Next 2 years they win
Yeah.
one
Yeah,
playoff
yeah.
game.
I understand that, but ask the Jet fan what the solution was. There was not a Jet fan in America who did not want to make this trade. He's Aaron Rodgers. They had to do this. They didn't have anybody else.
These
No.
teams
So
around the corner. That was the first time that somebody picked the Jets. Remember, Kirk Cousins used them for leverage to get more money
wanted
to go
to
to
come here.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Right. He wanted to come here
Absolutely.
because of the joint practice they had the year before.
Yeah, no way this is the worst trade. Again, he got hurt. Bart hit it right on the head.
No,
he was a
it's-
four-time
look,
MVP, and they had no other solution.
Lewis?
No problem with it. I cannot second-guess the Jets now for Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers. That's not fair.
Yeah, look, that's just Dan engaging in hyperbole. He knows this ain't the worst trade ever. I mean, look, you only have to go a couple of years ago. I mean, what Denver gave up to acquire Russ because they thought that would be. I mean, that cost people jobs immediately, and should have cost people jobs. Should have probably cost more people jobs than it did cost. And you're right. And look, Bart, I know you said the same thing we talked about on Get Up this morning. The Herschel Walker trade, what Jimmy Johnson did to the Minnesota Vikings in sending Herschel to Minnesota, he basically set up their dynasty.
Yeah.
With Minnesota's draft capital. He set up that dynastic run of the early 90s. So this here, look, this was a no-brainer move for the Jets. It was a no-brainer move. He just got hurt. It is what it is. If he can't come back and look, if he can stay on the football field this year, Aaron Rodgers is going to play winning football. They're going to go to the playoffs. If he's on the field, they go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I agree.
Jets have you'll like this 13-year playoff drought, tied with NHL's Buffalo Sabres
Wow.
as the longest in all of the major
2010.
sports.